and welcome to NTA's Top Table. Tonight promises to be a night of news with the extra touch, as Muslim faithful witness the Islamic New Year of Muharram. From the executive letter to Senate seeking the confirmation of NEDC board, the confirmation of service chiefs by the Green Chamber, to the open apology from Mesoma, the candidates with the fake JAMB results. The legislators had quite a busy day, and we shall serve you all the details. Do you know that it is not everybody you see around you that might be in their right senses or state of mind? Don't miss our package on this as we dig into mental health treatment and prevention. What is your take on body tattoos? Tonight, you will get to know the many angles to tattoos. Do you know the expiry date of that cooking cylinder in your home? We are simply on the upswing mood with human angle stories, as we also get to shine a spotlight on lifespan and danger of poor handling of gas cylinders. For traders and lovers of fish like me, it is good news with the return of the popular bag of fish market in Borno. Correspondent feels the pulse of key players on the recent declaration of state of emergency on food security. Toby Amuson is in the eyes of the storm. We shall bring you this and other trending sports stories. There's much more to look forward to on our lineup tonight. If you stay tuned, you will get the full package and you won't have to be told. Like we always say, the taste of the pudding is in the eating. I'm Elizabeth Omori. This is News Extra. Welcome. We begin with economic matters. President Bola Tinubu has continued consultations with key players on how to get the economy on sound footing. In this regard, the President and the Vice President Kashim Shettima met with the Senate President Godswill Akpabio and some governors, including those of Imo, Kwara, Lagos and Ogun. Former Governor Abdullahi Ganduje of Kano State was also part of the meeting. Presidential Advisor on Special Duties, Communications and Strategy, Dele Alake, says the meeting also looked at how to finalize arrangements on the distribution of palliatives to cushion the effects of the fuel subsidy removal. The presidency had earlier proposed the distribution of grains and fertilizers to farmers, also as part of measures to boost food security in the country. In line with the principle of separation of power, the President nominates, while the Senate screens and confirms such appointments. The President, Bola Tinubu, in confirming with this constitutional provision, has therefore forwarded to the Senate the list of members of the Governing Board of the Northeast Development Commission for confirmation. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that there will be more of such communication from the Presidency to the National Assembly in the coming days as the Renewed Hope agenda sets sail.
With 10 days left as provided in the Constitution, anticipation among Nigerians is high that the President will any moment from now transmit to the Senate the list of ministerial nominees for screening and confirmation. And so when at the commencement of plenary, the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, mentioned communication from the President, the chamber was quiet, with much expectations to hear the new cabinet nominees.
Big is getting excited. Maybe he's expecting his name to be sent to us for something, I don't know.
That shall be a story for another day, because as it turned out, this communication is seeking confirmation of another set of presidential appointees.
This is a request for confirmation of the appointment of members of the governing board of the Northeast Development Commission.
General Paul Tafa was reappointed as the board chairman, same as Mohammed Gune Al-Ghali, who was reappointed as the managing director. Other features as plenary is the constitution of a committee to compile lists of federal roads and gully erosion sites across the country that require urgent intervention. Deputy President of the Senate, Barrow Jibrin, raised the motion on behalf of entire members of the Senate.
Some of these federal roads have been awarded for either construction or rehabilitation, only to be abandoned by the contractors after moving to site.
And take a decision on how to ensure that all the roads in Nigeria across this country are attended to.
The Senate has commended and hereby commends the last administration of President Muhammadu Buhari for finding alternative means of funding road infrastructure and urges the current administration to continue in that regard.
Senate also set up an ad hoc committee to investigate alleged unprofessional conduct of some of the personnel of the Nigeria Customs Service while handling firearms.
The inability to checkmate this recurring abuse of firearms by officers of the Nigerian Customs Service might lead to further loss of innocent lives and possibly reprisal attacks by angered civilians.
Even in Delta State recently, NTA officers shot and killed a 2-year-old baby.
I believe that the investigation must be thorough and somebody must take responsibility.
Senate also adopts a motion from Senator Abamuru urging employers of labor in Nigeria to stop discriminating job seekers on the grounds of age barriers. The lawmakers urge governments to put in place a policy that will address the issue. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
And Vice President Kashim Shettima says the Tinubu administration has a genuine interest towards transforming the country, describing the president as a leader with Nigeria at heart. The Vice President stated this when he received former colleagues from the 9th Senate at the presidential villa. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila reports.
Nigeria requires the cooperation of all citizens, irrespective of differences, to support the Tinubu administration in transforming the country. Vice President Shettima noted that the present government has opened its windows to work with all for the good of the nation. On his personal relationship with the former senators, the Vice President said he has formed permanent bonds of friendship with the pledge to work with the ideas that are in conformity with the ideals of the Tinubu administration in the interest of the nation. Leader of the delegation, Senator Phillips Aduda, said the visit was not partisan, as the delegation comprised members across different political affiliations who are united for the progress of the country.
As his colleagues in the 9th Senate, we felt that it was necessary for us to come and pay him this visit, this bipartisan visit, this visit from both the APC, the PDP and the YPP, for us to pray for his success in this office of his, and to pray to God Almighty to grant him wisdom. This is why we have come here to see him for.
The delegation expressed confidence that the capacity, humility and depth of knowledge of the Vice President will impact the policies and programs of the Tinubu administration. From the State House, Abraham Usman Jibrila, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has confirmed the appointment of service chiefs following an adoption of the report of its header committee that screened the military chiefs. National Assembly correspondent Mitarik reports that the House at Wednesday's plenary rejects a motion to suspend the latest increase in fuel price from 540 naira to 617 naira by NNPC Limited.
The service chiefs confirmed at the Committee of the Whole are Major General Christopher Musa, Chief of Defense Staff, Major General Biodun Lagbaja, Chief of Army Staff, Rear Admiral Emmanuel Ugala, Chief of Naval Staff, and Air Vice Marshal Hassan Abubakar, Chief of Air Staff.
That the House will consider the report of the ad hoc committee on the screening of nominees for appointment as Chief of Defense Staff and Service Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. So we say number 1 recommendation is carried. Number 1 recommendation carried.
The House resolves to constitute an ad hoc committee to investigate frequent hike in pump price of petrol and report back for further legislative action.
We're expecting a hike in price of food in the coming days because the price of fuel affects the price of everything in the market. Mr. Speaker, this is the People's House, and we represent the interests of Nigerians.
For the House
to suspend the increase in the fuel by NNPC, pending their appearance to this hallowed committee.
Okay, let me put it to question. Those in support that will stop the price increase subject to investigation, say aye. Those against, say nay. The nays have it.
The lawmakers also adopted a motion urging the president to lift the embargo on employment in ministries, departments, and agencies of the federal government.
Some MDAs have resorted to engaging casual staff who are paid from internally generated revenue and other sources.
House committees were mandated to investigate the concessioning of the nation's airports to foreign firms and the utilization of the National Housing Fund.
Major airports in Lagos, Abuja, and Kano have remained very consistently subject of controversies.
Away from the plenary, 19-year-old Maysoma Ejikeme appeared before the House Investigative Ad Hoc Committee with a letter of apology, pleading for leniency from JAMB and Nigerians over the manipulation of her 2023 UTME result.
With a heavy heart, I humbly seek your forgiveness for the mistakes I've made and the pain I've caused. I deeply and sincerely admit that I ignorantly got my JAMB results from another portal, which was not JAMB portal.
The House Investigative Committee urged the public to sustain confidence in public institutions. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
A confirmation of service chiefs signals the commencement of a renewed onslaught against insecurity in Nigeria. This is coming from senators who drilled top security chiefs in Abuja. Ignatius Nkwo tells us more.
National security is definitely going to take a prominent position in the agenda of the 10th Senate, in what is going to look like a continuation of the legislative intervention of the 9th Senate, and in fact, the entire National Assembly, where a day hardly passed without a motion bordering on insecurity moved. Having considered its first motions on tackling insecurity in parts of the country, the screening of Chief of Defense Staff and Service Chiefs on the 13th of July 2023 was a timely engagement that has set the ball rolling. It was an engagement that provided the legislators with an insight into the capacity, capabilities, and what to expect from the new leadership of the Nigerian security architecture.
Is for the new service chiefs to deploy both kinetic and non-kinetic approach, because it is not enough to approach the issue through only kinetic means, that is the deployment of force.
The 10th Senate is much more particular on the use of cutting-edge technology in the fight against insecurity. The top military brass must adopt an effective inter-agency collaboration for effective synergy and to ensure adequate protection of high-level intelligence.
By the kind of training our officers go through and the resources that so far have been deployed or injected into the security network or architecture of the system, we will have no reason not to really leverage on technology.
Another area is also the caution on the approach of using conventional war method to fight unconventional insurgency. That's not right. So you have to really come up with some more critical knowledge and that can drive great security.
Well, the senators also recommended that in order to enhance the involvement of locals in this fight, that the service chiefs must strengthen the involvement of the Civilian Joint Task Force. Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Away from the agenda of the service chiefs, with the 2023 elections and the politicking associated with it now gone, it is time for women to show example in leadership by bonding and working together to serve the people. Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu stated this while interacting with female federal lawmakers who paid her a courtesy visit at the presidential villa, while urging the lawmakers not to take the mandate of the people for granted. The First Lady advised them to work together across party lines to address challenges facing their constituencies in order to achieve the renewed hope agenda of the present administration.
But just make sure that you keep being faithful to your constituents. Carry them along as much as you can. Keep doing good. That's why you are here. Whatever you feel is right for your constituents, that's what you pursue. And that's the independence you really enjoy.
Earlier, one of the lawmakers, Kafilat Obara, representing Koshofe Federal Constituency in Lagos, had applauded the First Lady for being a good example to female legislators and asked for her support.
And we are also here to let you know that we are just a call away. Whatever special projects you have, whatever you need us to do with you to support this government, we are readily available to work with you. Thank you.
For the First Lady, the meeting with the lawmakers drawn from the two chambers of the National Assembly is a warm reminder of her time at the Senate, where she spent 12 impactful years. In other news, President Bola Tinubu is imploring Muslims and Nigerians generally to imbibe the important values of patience, perseverance and faithfulness, which were at the roots of the decision by Prophet Muhammad to migrate from Mecca to Medina 1445 years ago. The President, in his personal statement of felicitation to Muslims in Nigeria and around the world as they witness the end of another Hijrah lunar calendar, praised the incoming year 1445 ushers in a more peaceful and prosperous period. President Tinubu says as Nigerians persevere and struggle to confront the present challenges and temporary pain they experience, he enjoins them to remain hopeful that there is light and prosperity at the end of the tunnel. He says his team is doing everything possible in the bid to deliver on the promises he made in spite of the present difficulties. Now, still on the celebration, the Emir of Ilorin and other Muslim faithful in Ilorin, as well as other parts of Kwara, converged on the open field of the State Stadium complex to celebrate the new Islamic year. Abdulwahid Bibiri completes the story.
In their separate lectures, Ilorin-based Islamic scholars Sheikh Abdulmumin Ayara and Sheikh Adam Tani told the people to imbibe the qualities of patience and perseverance as demonstrated by Prophet Muhammad to mark this year's Hijrah celebration. The Grand Qadi Kwara State Sharia Court of Appeal, Justice Abdul Latif Kamaldeen, and the Chairman Hijrah Organization of Nigeria, Professor Badmas Yusuf, described Hijrah celebration as a period of sober reflection to shun all evil acts and embrace righteousness. The chairman of the occasion, retired Justice Idris Irun, urged the people to be patient with government over the fuel subsidy remover, emphasizing that all the hardship occasioned by the fuel subsidy remover will become a thing of the past. The Emir of Ilorin, Alhaji Ibrahim Sule Gambari, on behalf of the Muslim community, thanked the state government for declaring the first day of Islamic calendar as a public holiday in the state. March past by various Islamic schools and organizations added color to the celebration.
By and large, the people were admonished to see the current hardship being experienced in the country, occasioned by the fuel subsidy removal, emphasizing that there will be light at the end of the tunnel. In Ilorin, Abdulwahid Bibiri, NTA News.
And from Ilorin, we now take you to Zamfara State, where a public lecture was among a series of events organized by the Joint Youth Islamic Organizations to mark the dawn of Islamic New Year 1445 after Hijrah. Jamilu Ibrahim reports.
The Islamic New Year is observed annually to mark the migration of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, from Mecca to Medina. The lunar calendar, consisting of 12 lunar months in a year, is used to determine the proper days of Islamic holidays and rituals, such as the annual Ramadan fast and the pilgrimage to Mecca. In Zamfara State, a public lecture was organized by the state chapter of Joint Islamic Youth Organizations to mark the dawn of the Islamic New Year 1445 after the Hijrah. The lecture with the theme, Good Governance as a Panacea to the Prevalent Security and Economic Challenges, an Islamic Perspective, emphasized the need for good leadership and followership with a view to achieving a peaceful and prosperous society.
The basic tenets of Islam has given us the basis and the guidance to establish good governance, which in turn will translate to improved security and enhanced economic development within the society.
Zamfara State Head of Service, who represented the State Deputy Governor Mani Mummuni, and the Emir of Bungudu Hassan Tahiru, who spoke on behalf of the State Council of Chiefs, enjoined people in the state to rally around the government's renewed commitment to achieving lasting peace for a sustainable development.
All hands should be on deck to ensure that we do the needful, we do the right thing, and to support the government in all its critical programs so that we address this insecurity once and for all.
Chairman of the Joint Youth Islamic Organizations, Ustaz Sanusi Muhammad Kotarkoshi, says the annual event is primarily aimed at underscoring the significance of the Islamic lunar calendar and to provide solutions to some of the major challenges bedeviling the society. The event also features the launching of the Islamic New Year calendar 1445 after Hijrah. Meanwhile, people in Zamfara State, especially workers, have observed the work-free day declared by the state government to mark the commencement of the Islamic New Year 1445 after Hijrah, even as Governor Dauda Lawal has enjoined them to intensify prayers for the restoration of lasting peace in the state and the country as a whole. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
And may the Islamic New Year be blessed for all Muslims in Nigeria and around the world. Now to electoral matters, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has commenced a post-election review of the 2023 general elections. Chairman of the Commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, says the review is aimed at improving the conduct of future elections and consolidation of democracy in Nigeria. Timothy Yusuf reports.
The post-election review of the 2023 general election by INEC is commencing, with meeting all the electoral officers and transport unions that participated in the exercise. They are considered critical stakeholders in the electoral process.
Today we are here to attend to the question of how far and how well we performed in our respective duties during the election.
They are undertaking a holistic review of the 2023 general election with a view to addressing lessons learned in the conduct of 2023 polls and recommendations for future elections. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu believes that the 2023 general election was a success owing to some innovations in technology, and for the first time, national elections were not postponed.
We can conduct a review of the elections without involving those who made the election tick. And through your hard work and the support of the Commission, for the first time in the last 4 electoral cycles, presidential and National Assembly elections were not postponed even for 1 hour.
Next in line for post-election review will be debriefing of collation and returning officers. The Commission is also set to interface with political party leaders, media executives and civil society organizations in the coming days. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
The Supreme Court of Nigeria says the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwola, had no telephone conversation with anybody, including President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, on the ongoing presidential election petitions pending for the Presidential Election Petition Court. The Director of Press and Information, Supreme Court of Nigeria, Dr. Akodo Festus, made the clarification in a statement issued in Abuja. The Apex Court notes that Justice Ariwola never spoke with the Director General of the Department of State Services in view to pressurize the Presidential Election Petition Court on likely judgment to give in respect of the petitions. The court states clearly that there was no iota of truth in the narrative, as there was no such telephone conversation between the Chief Justice of Nigeria and anyone. He pointed out that the rule of law and supremacy of the Nigerian Constitution will always be upheld and applied in every matter that comes before the courts, affirming that the facts presented and the subsisting laws must be applied in determining the merit or otherwise of each matter. The Apex Court assures Nigerians that justice will be done in all matters pending in the various courts across the country, irrespective of who is involved. Let's take some time out at this junction. When News Extra returns, we shall take a bit of road matters and of course stories that will no doubt prompt you to pay more attention to your mental health, just as the choice of whether or not to sway with body tattoos. All this and more in our next segment. Join us again. Welcome back. To aviation now. Air travel is by far the preferred means of transportation, but also the most fatal in terms of mishaps. More worrisome, however, is the level of aviation regulations to guide this subsector and provide succor to families of victims of crashes. This, among other issues, bordered on safety, investigation and prevention, where what aviation stakeholders came up with at a conference in Abuja as proposals to the amendment of the Civil Aviation Regulation 2019. Tope Alabi was there.
Series of aircraft accidents have been recorded in Nigeria, with the recent being the escape of 143 passengers following Maxair crash landing in Abuja in May. Another recent incident was the NAF trainer aircraft crash, which occurred a few days ago in Makurdi with 0 deaths. This aviation stakeholders conference is to strengthen laws establishing the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau, NSIB, formerly the Accident Investigation Bureau, AIB, to properly investigate aircraft accidents and incidents in Nigeria, as well as prefer solutions to the plight of the victims.
Based on that newly enacted act, NCA has to ensure and enforce all airlines to come up with a family assistance program. On this family assistance program, we're going to be coordinated with some government agencies, especially the FCCPC on consumer protection.
While the agency reports to the President through the Minister of Aviation, reviewing existing frameworks, therefore is seen to be apt.
It's timely, it's important. I must commend NSIB. It's the way to go. It's strategic for us, knowing fully well that safety is a journey, not a destination.
Safety is no accident. It just didn't happen. It takes strong institutions, enforcement, and even the airlines do what they're supposed to do, because every AOC holder in Nigeria has a responsibility.
Apart from effectively addressing aircraft accident investigation, stakeholders are optimistic that the amendment will herald improved aviation safety standards. In Abuja, Tope Alabi, NTA News.
Thank you, Tope. Now, to another arm of transportation, the Kaduna-Kano railway construction work is recording a remarkable success as it has reached appreciable level. Suraj Abdullahi reports that major impediments to the progress of work have been overcome, with expectations of completion in no distant time.
This is one of the construction sites of the double-track standard gauge rail line project with the length of about 203 kilometers from Kaduna to Kano.
Awarded purposely to facilitate the extension of Abuja-Kaduna Railway, the construction work on Kaduna-Kano standard gauge has reached a appreciable stage. A visit to Makarpi 1 by Axis reveals that work is going on as expected.
We are very happy and proud to reach this level because this is an important infrastructure for Nigerian. For the stretch from Makarfi to Kano, we reach like 80% of the work. So we are looking forward to continue our stretch from Makarfi to Kaduna. In let's say 1.5 years, max 2 years, we will complete all the stretch from Kaduna to Kano.
This development excites residents of the communities along the corridor, who commended the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for keeping to the continuity spirit.
Many people thought it is impossible. It is now a reality. For this government,
May God strengthen them to complete this work.
It is believed that when completed, the railway will not only strengthen links between the two states of Kano and Kaduna, but also boost local business relations, mineral resources, and movement of passengers, particularly the middle-class income earners. From Zaria, Suraj Abdullahi, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Federal Road Safety Corps has commenced enlightenment campaigns in parts of the country and the Federal Capital Territory on road safety measures for motorists, especially during the rainy season. FRSC Corps Marshal Dauda Biu says this will go a long way in ensuring safety on Nigerian roads. Oyeyemi Ajayi has details.
Normally, enlightenment campaigns for the Federal Road Safety Corps used to be during festivities to warn motorists embarking on journeys on road safety measures. But this time around, the FRSC won't want to wait for that any longer, as safety of lives and property on the roads require immediate attention. Taking the bull by the horn, the Corps Marshal has ordered 4 deputy Corps Marshals out to intensify enlightenment campaigns for road users, and the point of call are Nyanya, Kwali, Abaji and Zuba.
It's part of the strategy that we want to use generally, not necessarily during festivities now, because crashes happen every day, everywhere. So we felt that it is better we do it continuously so that the impact will be felt.
The target still remains achieving United Nations Decade of Action on 0% road crash, and the Corps doesn't seem relenting in achieving it.
But generally, we prefer compliance. Compliance willingly, yes, it's much better for us actually. We are not, even the penalty, our target really is not to make money per se, but we want reduction in traffic. If people will comply and we don't have any need to book you or give you ticket, we will be the happiest.
As the enlightenment campaigns will continue throughout the year, and the Corps officials will be visiting clubs, churches, mosques, schools, institutions, amongst others, for continued sensitization to ensure road sanity on the highways. Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
Well, it's simple. If we adhere to all the rules, we'll save more lives. It is not everybody you see around you that may be in their right senses or state of mind. We are told that unhealthy lifestyle, lack of proper diet, overthinking and high expectations are some of the major factors increasing the data of patients with mental illnesses. This assertion is from those who should know, yes, mental health experts. In this next report, yours faithfully decided to take a look at what we are also told is the thin line between sanity and insanity, with focus on treatment, prevention, and management of the condition. Mental health is a state of well-being that enables people cope with the stress of life, realize their abilities, learn and work in order to contribute to the growth of society. Clinical depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, bipolar, trauma, and dementia are a wide range of conditions that affect the state of the well-being of an individual. In 2022, data by the World Health Organization revealed that over 20 million Nigerians are suffering from various degrees of mental illness without psychiatric care.
So many people are sick mentally that they don't know. Those that are even properly dressed are sick until the issues are triggered.
Growing up, nobody cares about your mental health. You're expected to do as you are told without any attention paid to your own emotions.
Dr. Ephraim Uluwanuga is the chief consultant psychiatrist at the National Hospital. She speaks on this condition.
The most possible reason why a person would have a mental health condition would be that they have a genetic predisposition to it. Now, of course, things that go on around them, like stress that they might face, difficulties, challenges in life, or they stressing their brains by using drugs, drinking alcohol, for example, would only interact with their genetic constitution.
Untreated mental illness, she insists, contributes to higher medical expenses, poor performance, broken relationships and homes, as well as youth restiveness.
It's possible that, in fact, during pregnancy, the mother did not eat well. The nutrition was poor. So the brain is already not even as, it's not been given as good a chance as that of a mother who ate vegetables, who ate healthy.
A lot of people are so frustrated that there's nowhere for them to turn to for counseling, for mental health therapy, call it psychotherapy. So because of that, there are usually transfer of aggression.
When you begin to overreact or snap at anything that requires little or no attention, the expert's advice here is for you to seek medical help or take some time off that exhaustive activity. Medical experts believe this will aid quick recovery. They, however, recommend regular medical checks, recognizing patience as a virtue, and observing 7 to 8 hours of night sleep daily. Well, I think the last picture of that report speaks to ensure you sleep well. Tragedies from gas cylinders underscore caution. So, how careful are you? Stay with us for some enlightenment on lifespan and danger of poor handling of gas cylinder. The return of Bagamak fish market. If you are a lover of fish like I am, then this should interest you. Details after this next break. You're still watching News Extra on NTA. Faced with the challenge of inadequate electricity supply and the hike in price of petrol, Nigerians are now using their ingenuity to find a feasible and cost-effective means of generating electricity using liquefied petroleum gas to power generators. Elizabeth Yila reports that in Kano, the innovation of replacing the PMS with LPG in generator sets is gradually gaining acceptance by business owners and residents.
Just a few months back, the idea of using liquefied petroleum gas to power generators would have seemed unrealistic and outrightly dangerous. However, the current reality in Nigeria makes one prove the saying of an ancient Greek philosopher, Plato, which says, "Necessity is the mother of all inventions." Adamu Musa, who runs a photocopy business in Kano metropolis, found out about this innovation of turning a generator to be powered with liquefied natural gas on social media.
I have always been good in repairing things when they spoil at home. So immediately I came across this online. I decided to make one myself since it's easy. I used to buy 2,000 naira fuel per day. But since I started using this, I noticed that the work I do using LPG is like twice the amount of petrol I would have used, which is far better.
There is no problem because many people expect is that the cylinder will get hot. Or instead of getting hot, it gets cold. Sometimes it gets ice.
The question remains, how safe is this technology and is it sustainable?
A new carburetor is there to convert the LPG, that's the liquefied natural gas, and that conversion is just to reduce the power to liquefy it more, just like how petrol is, then it will power the generator, it will work. And it is safe if precautions are taken. You know, the normal precautions to keep it in a safe place, to avoid leakage.
The use of liquefied petroleum gas to power generators is gradually gaining acceptance in Kano State as a more economically viable and sustainable option to power supply. However, experts are emphasizing on the need to tread with caution to prevent avoidable accidents. From Kano, Elizabeth Yila, NTA News.
I agree, Elizabeth. Caution is key. Gas cylinder explosion is becoming a common occurrence in homes with sometimes fatal consequences. Information from a gas cylinder researcher in the FCT revealed that a large number of gas cylinders in use may have reached the terminal expiry dates, thus requiring utmost care. Safia Nyoma Uche, who is investigating how FCT residents handle gas cylinders, reports that many people are ignorant of the dangers caused by poor handling and storage of gas cylinders.
In different sizes and shapes, very few people, though, are mindful of its expiring date, which is embossed at the top of the cylinder.
If this camping one, the burner, that you should always make sure that your burner is okay. If it's this type that use regulator on top, they always advise that make sure your regulator is not leaking, make sure your valve is not leaking.
Gas refillers say the lifespan of a cylinder is 15 years and every cylinder must undergo integrity tests at 5 years to avoid leakage.
There are some cylinders that when you fill it, they will be sweating by the side of the cylinders. Like most of the cylinders that they paint has already washed away. So when you fill it, even if you keep it in a very cool place, you will see heat around it. And there are some cylinders that when you put the head, your gas will be coming out. That shows that the mouth of that particular cylinder is not good. Once you on it and you're using it, don't shake it. Because in the process of shaking it, there is a pressure that is coming from the cylinder to your burner. And when you shake it and the tip comes up and there is any fire around, it turns to something else.
It's estimated that 90% of the cylinders in the market have expired or over 30 years old, right? Which is one of the contributing factors to the frequent explosions we hear of. The cylinders that we're going to be introducing for natural gas are all brand new, manufactured to international and local standards, and have a lifespan of about 30 to 40 years.
Popularly and locally consumed is liquefied petroleum gas, which comes in cylinders as low as 3 kg, 5 kg, 6 kg, 10 kg, and as high as 19 to 48 kilograms. Experts say consciousness and caution is highly required when handling gas, as every cylinder is a potential danger. Safia Nyoma Uche, NTA News.
And for those of you that burn your cylinders just to get the gas out, please stop it. It is dangerous. Time to get busy with some business reports. Musa will be our guide. Musa.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Let's begin with SDGs. The African Union says the continent needs additional financing of about $194 billion annually to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. The African body said this in its latest report titled Africa's Development Dynamics 2023, Investing in Sustainable Development. It observed that the annual sustainable financing gap in Africa is equivalent to 7% of continent's gross domestic product and 34% of its investment in 2021. The annual gap equals less than 0.2% of the global and 10.5% of the African held stock of financial assets. The report says African economies hold unique assets such as youth population, natural resources, and financial resources to close the continent's sustainable financing gap. And to energy, global oil benchmark Brent briefly hovered above $80 on Wednesday, buoyed by China's pledge to reinvigorate economic growth and expectations. The U.S. Federal Reserve will stop raising interest rates soon. Brent futures were up 26 cents at $79.89 a barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude was up 9 cents to $75.84 per barrel. The equities market closed midweek session negative as investors lose 5.17 billion naira. The all-share index shed 0.01% to end the session at 63,757.23 basis points. A sum of 473 million securities worth 10 billion naira were traded in 7,403 deals. Market capitalization fell to 34.7 trillion naira. Japo Gold, FCMB, and Stallion Financial Holdings Company PLC were the most traded stocks at the end of the session. That concludes business news. It's over to you, Elizabeth.
Thanks so much, Musa. We'll take a break now. More to come when we return.
You are going through the brunt of the fuel subsidy. I know the pressure and the demand and lamentation, but you understand it much better. You are the one who understands the labor pain. That is only after that pain you see the smile of a child that you are relieved and forget the pain completely. And that's what we are going through economically. You are the one who can educate better the public to understand that we have to go through this. Cartel and thieves have been raping us and fleecing this country before now. You say enough is enough. We are taking our country back.
Are you a dealer in cars, jewelry, precious metals and stones and luxury goods? Are you into real estate, or are you an estate agent, surveyor, valuer, developer or broker? Are you into the hospitality industry, lottery business, or are you a mortgage broker, tax consultant or an accountant? Do you have a supermarket, pools betting and consulting or construction company? If you have, go and obtain your certification from the Special Control Unit Against Money Laundering, SCUMOL, and be free to do your business within the ambits of the law. SCUMOL has the responsibility to monitor, supervise, and regulate the activities of designated non-financial business and professions, DNFBPs, across the country. Please note that the SCUMOL certificate is not a guarantee of legitimacy of any business. To register, visit www.scumol.org. For collection of certificate, visit any EFCC office nearest to you. Remember, registration is free.
SCUMOL, securing Nigeria's business environment. This message is from Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
Bye, Mom.
He's going to play in this weather. Why did you let him go? He might fall ill.
And if he doesn't go out for practice, how will he win more trophies? To protect our family from illness-causing germs during the rainy season, we use Dettol soap every day.
Dettol with Germ Defense gives you protection. Rainy season brings a lot of germs, and Dettol soap's Germ Defense protects you from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Dettol soap is endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association. Be Dettol Soap.
How did I get here? It all started shortly after I graduated from MSTC, the Model Skills Training Center, with a certificate in ICT. I successfully developed a data management program that has been called the software of the future. Thanks to its success, everyone wants it, and as you can see, now everyone wants me. But I'm not alone. The skills training programs at MSTC are equipping young Nigerians to become the next big success story. Whether it's ICT, mechatronics, facility technology, electronics and computer networking, or culinary studies, a certificate at MSTC is the way of the future. And just like me, there he is, everyone will want you to.
ITF, developing the nation's human resource.
Hey, welcome to the StarTimes 35th anniversary celebration. To say thank you to every StarTimes family for being an integral part of our journey. StarTimes has decided to give you a price slash on decoders. Yes, we are slashing the price of our antenna decoder from 8,900 naira to 7,500 naira, and the dish decoder from 13,300 naira to 9,900 naira. But that's not all. Existing subscribers can recharge for 2 months on their current bouquet and get upgraded to the next higher bouquet. And if you recharge on the classic or super bouquet, you'll receive a fantastic reward of extra 15 days of free viewing. You can enjoy our top local and international content. So, what are you waiting for? Quickly, visit any StarTimes outlet around you to recharge or buy your decoder between June 12th to August 31st to enjoy this fabulous offer. Wow! Yay! Let the celebration begin! StarTimes, entertain your family.
Thanks, Sustain. Apart from biscuit delicacy and incense substances that have popularized Maiduguri, the capital of Borno, Baga Road Fish Market in the metropolis was another selling point for the expansive city, considered by observers as promoter of social cohesion and commerce. This is largely due to the fact that that popular market had for decades served as receiver of dried fish from the lake's Chad and allow for destinations within and outside Nigeria until insurgency came calling. The good news is Baga Fish Market is back. Murjanatu Hassan takes it up from here.
Out on the return of peace in Maiduguri and the state at large, or even beyond, he or she should come to this fish market along Baga Road in Maiduguri, forced to be closed totally for years owing to the deadly insurgency. It now bubbles daily, a development that is exciting to all those with interest in the Borno project. Oral and written literature are unanimous in the fact that Baga Fish Market has been in existence for more than a century, enjoying patronage from across the country and beyond. To an average Maiduguri resident, the facility serves as a major generator of employment to hundreds of youth, contributing grossly to the economy of the state and the nation at large. What will the viewer know more about this market is the question put to one of its officials.
We are the largest producer of freshwater fish in entire West Africa. This is the largest market, and we produce freshwater fish in large quantity.
In those days, I think the production is about weekly more than 100 trailers, that's trucks of fish, is coming out from Baga to Lagos, Onitsha, Enugu, Asaba, across the Nigeria world.
However, the horrific and the ugly past is fast becoming a history, as the market is now bubbling owing to the improved security and resettlement efforts by the government, which enabled people to resume fishing with all seriousness. NTA crew came across these Nigerians who came to patronize the stock.
It reached 20 years. They come here. If I follow that person, come buy fish, buy finish, my money no dey complete. No good.
Now 18 years now. I go come here, I go Adamawa also.
In 2003, we have loaded about 1,000 trucks to the southern part of the country.
Officials of the market shared with NTA some of the problems drawing them back.
The major challenge is for a businessman that is out of business for about 8 years. Certainly he has nothing at hand. There is need for empowerment. There is need for a starter kit. There is need for at least a capital for them to start.
Challenges faced by fishermen is farm input. Now it's very cost. The transportation is very cost.
In Maiduguri, Murjanatu Hassan, NTA News.
Indeed, good news for all the fish lovers. Honeywell Flour Mills PLC has emerged triumphant in a damages case against Ecobank Nigeria. The ruling delivered by Justice Lehman of the Federal High Court in Lagos has settled a protracted legal battle between the food manufacturing company and the financial institution. At the hearing of the suit over the payment of damages, Justice Lehman dismissed Ecobank's preliminary objection while expressing displeasure over the use of ex parte order to freeze assets, stating that the purpose of an undertaking to pay damages has been held in a legion of cases to indemnify the party for the losses he may suffer on the basis of an ex parte order. Justice Lehman noted that the Rule 4 of the Winding Up rules provides that all applications which affect the rights of the parties in a winding up proceeding must be made on notice, as the provisions of winding up rules are very clear and ambiguous. The judge also notes that the defendant cannot claim ignorance of the provisions, as ignorance of the law is no excuse, and it is even more inexcusable if it is committed by a lawyer. The ex parte application was therefore made ultra vires. The 4 reliefs sought by Honeywell Flour Mills plc to the tune of 72.2 billion naira were granted in its entirety. Justice Clement further stated that the defendant's argument in this regard cannot stand. I have no hesitation in granting relief in favor of the defendant. The judge thereafter awarded Honeywell Flour Mills plc damages, saying the argument of the defendant has no basis. In his reaction to the win, Honeywell lead counsel Bode Olanipekun SAN expressed satisfaction, saying it is a commendable decision in an area of our jurisprudence that has been scarcely tested. The court has awarded damages in a claim brought to the premise of an undertaking given for the grant of ex parte orders, which both the Court of Appeal and Supreme Court have found were improperly sought and granted. Proactive flood control plan is required for states to effectively mitigate flooding. In addition to this, understanding the peculiarity of flooding experience and needed precautionary measures are crucial factors relevant agencies must consider. Environmentalists are emphasizing this as they frown at the seeming tradition of states giving environmental issues that could become disaster a loose grip until it becomes so huge to handle. Larry Bilay reports.
The weather is overcast like this. People living in old Abeokuta Road in Okoba, in Lagos State under Agege local government, always keep your fingers crossed, because when it rains, this place that you are seeing that is dry will be flooded, and this gutter that you are seeing will also be flooded that nobody could pass. Nobody will be able to pass through. I met people living around this area that's with me, an engineer, Mr. Ayola, that is repairing generator by the roadside, who said it has been terrible whenever it rains here in Okoba. Sir, how did it happen?
Well, yesterday after the rain have fall, the rain have already even dry. When people are coming along the gutters, we now see someone, a lady, as she get to that extreme end there, we saw him falling. Immediately, people saw her, they want to rescue her, but the flood is too much. So there's no how they can rescue her. After that one happened, another one happened down.
Resident took me to a canal which has become a nightmare to them. Although it seems safe, when it rains heavily, it transforms into a dangerous zone with ferocious flood water capable of sweeping away anything in its path.
Àgbàrá òjò lélẹ́yìí o, jẹ́ ti rí. Eléyìí kò ṣeré o. Òjò ti dá o. Omi sì ń wọ́ o. Ṣé ẹ̀rí mọ́tò lè kọjá?
Once it starts raining, we are all worried. We are worried for our children who have gone to school. We are worried for our families who have gone to work. We all have to stand around shouting to people, watching each other's back, because we don't find it easy whenever it rains.
Mr. Baye said human factor is one of the reasons for flooding in the area, pointing out that indiscriminate disposal of waste aggravates the situation.
We need to keep educating ourselves. The way and manner we throw dirt into this running water whenever it rains, it goes around clogging the free flow of water, and that leads to most of the overflowing we are seeing. Most of the gutters, like I said, I've been here for the last 13 years. I see people doing this. We try correcting ourselves, but some of them will not listen. We should stop pouring things there.
Residents are calling on the government and other relevant agencies to swing into action and save the alarming situation to forestall more loss of lives and property. In Lagos, Larry Bilay, NTA News.
A need for attention. And from Kogi, we hear that residents and travelers were stranded for weeks due to devastating floods that affected the city and its neighboring towns. The dead state of the major highways has further increased the plight of the people. Nearly a year has passed since the last flood, and with another one predicted by NIMET, Jonathan Omajali examines the present road condition.
Cotton Karfi, located in Kogi local government area, remains relatively calm. However, this tranquility is merely a precursor to a looming storm. Recent predictions by NIMET regarding another potential flood have cast an ominous cloud over the community.
Because the experience last year was very, very terrible. A lot of deaths were recorded here, like you rightly observed. Animals died on this route.
In the past, the Lokoja-Abuja highway has proven to be a nightmare for travelers, as they endured weeks on the road. The flood made the road impassable, resulting in the loss of goods worth millions of naira.
These United Nations recommendations or reports occasioned by national committees on flood management. And one of the recommendations was, one, for example, this federal highway, there was need for it to be heightened. That was one. Two, there were issues of constructing buffer dams at from Shiroro Jeba downstream. Nothing has been done.
Similar to the Lokoja-Kutunkarfi Road, the Ganaja-Jakuta Road experienced severe flooding last year, causing nightmarish travel conditions for those heading towards the southern and eastern parts of the country.
Anger, frustration, that's what you get on this road. It's already in a deplorable condition, but it is nothing compared to what you get when the flood set in.
The experience is beyond comprehension. It's too bad. Very, very bad.
Rehabilitation has commenced on the road. However, it serves as a temporary solution.
So that's why His Excellency deemed it necessary to direct the Ministry of Works and Road Maintenance Agency, Kokurumba, to understudy what kind of palliative measure should be carried out.
Anytime the flood comes, it overwhelms the road. So as the road stands now, this road has structurally failed. It has failed from the subgrade, the subbase is totally failed.
In Lokoja, Jonathan Omajali, NTA News.
Relevant authorities must take action. Food, shelter, and clothing are three basic needs of man. Life becomes threatened in the absence of any of them. In Nigeria, food is becoming a scarce and expensive commodity. This has led to a presidential declaration of a state of emergency on food security in the country. Aisha Abubakar Yaya in this report takes a look at what the declaration portends for the agricultural sector, especially with the present status of Nigeria's food security.
The years maintained the status of being food secured. However, in recent times, issues relating to scarcity and high cost of inputs dropped in yields as a result of climate change and impacts of insecurity, which has also landed the country into an unpleasant state.
The general security, human security of life and property is very important, because if you don't have security, in the sense I'm talking about physical security now, you won't even be able to go to farm. So there is need to tackle the incidences of insecurity so that farmers will be able to go to farm and to be able to produce their food.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration has identified these challenges and therefore declared state of emergency on food security in the country.
And the declaration is very apt at this time, because food security, once you are able to guarantee food security, you can start thinking of other things. Without food security, other aspects of human life will be affected negatively.
Mukaila Salaudin is a farmer, and with his farming experience, declaring state of emergency on food security is a revolution in the agricultural sector that can yield positive results for the country.
The input for the farmers, that will enable them to produce more, we don't have them in large quantity, and they are very costly.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration
also identified 3 major ways to address the situation, which include provision and distribution of fertilizers, expansion of areas of cultivation by additional 500,000 hectares, and provision of adequate security for farmers in troubled areas. If the agricultural sector can be given adequate attention by investing more in the sector, while food stored as strategic grain reserves be released as directed by the federal government to cushion the effect of food inflation in the country, Nigeria will be better for it. Aisha Abubakar Yahaya, NTA News.
Thank you, Aisha. So far, so good. We'll take a final break for the night and then bring you sports when we return. To stay.
You and your hair go through a lot. The heat, rain, chaos. It's a non-stop war against total breakdown. But just like you, your hair can stay strong no matter what. Mega Growth Break-Free Daily Leave-In Strengthener for all hair types is infused with a unique blend of natural oils and conditioning proteins that helps protect your hair. Mega Growth Break-Free, your daily defense against breakage.
Bye, Mom.
He's going to play in this weather. Why did you let him go? He might fall ill. And if he doesn't go out for practice, how will he win more trophies? To protect our family from illness-causing germs during the rainy season, we use Dettol soap every day.
Dettol with germ defense gives you protection. Rainy season brings a lot of germs, and Dettol soap's germ defense protects you from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Dettol soap is endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association. Be Dettol Show.
Did you know that a quarter of the world's deaths from malaria is in Nigeria? And the reason being a mosquito that spreads malaria, a disease that puts everyone's life in distress. We believe that protection and prevention is the best cure in the fight to end malaria. Mortein insecticide with its improved formulation kills 100% mosquitoes that spread malaria. So, spread the message of how we can fight to end malaria with Mortein. Mortein, our number one choice.
Oh, that's wonderful! And that is what champions do!
Now, good football with a talk.
He has nailed that!
Now, only GoTV fit give you all the La Liga.
Game changer!
Serie A.
And it's into the net again.
Premier League and other better football competitions. Get your GoTV decoder, GoTenna, and 1 month GoTV Max subscription for only 9,900 naira. Terms and conditions apply. GoTV. Love it.
Let's talk sports, and Bade Adeleye has some for us on sports updates.
World 100 meters women's hurdles champion Tobia Muso insists she's a clean athlete and will fight to clear her name after being handed a provisional suspension for whereabouts failure. The world record holder was on Tuesday charged and suspended by the Athletics Integrity Unit for allegedly missing doping tests on 3 occasions within 12 months. Amuson's case will be heard by the disciplinary tribunal and determined before the World Athletics Championships. Team Nigeria, to the just concluded Jimstar International Club World Championship in Malta, have set a target of sealing qualification to the 2024 Paris Olympics. Nigeria won 8 gold, 7 silver and 8 bronze medals after competing in categories D and E of the event.
We always come to the stadium every day for practice, and God helped us to win many gold medals, silver medals and bronze medals.
To football, semi-final matches of the ongoing Bayelsa State Governors Prosperity Cup have been scheduled for this weekend, with Agbere FC taking on Crusaders, while Dream FC slug it out with D Grace FC at the Samson Siasia Stadium.
We're hoping to see keenly contested football matches going forward to the finals, and we're hoping that we'll use this opportunity and avenue to harvest a lot of stunning football talents.
And finally, Benjamin Mendy has made a return to football just 5 days after being cleared of sexual assault by joining Ligue 1 side Lorient. The left-back has signed a 2-year deal at the French outfit. With sports update, Bade Adeleye, NTA News.
On the eve of FIFA Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand, correspondent Ayodeji Makinde reports on the uniqueness and expectations from Nigeria's Super Falcons.
Nigeria's anthem will be rendered when the 9th FIFA Women's World Cup kicks off in Australia and New Zealand on Thursday. Though the Pride of Africa would not take to the pitch till the early hours of Friday, Super Falcons have lots of expectations on their shoulders to succeed. For the first time since 1991, when the maiden edition held in Guangdong, China, Nigeria go into the championship without the tag of African champions, despite serenading in 8 previous editions with some memorable moments. Since the Falcons flew short of expected heights at the Women's AFCON in Morocco last year, attention has been on the Nigeria Football Federation, with fingers pointed at the Secretariat for imbalance between them and their male counterparts, the Super Eagles. While this disparity continues to generate more attention in global discourse, mixed reactions signpost the path the team should follow.
Yes, there have been disagreements, maybe from the coach, misunderstanding, which he has apologized. He's seen reasons to apologize because that was extremely, really a distraction.
We have trust on the Falcons team, and we believe in them, and we know they'll conquer. But it's not going to be easy, you know.
Captain of the team, 40-year-old Onome Ebi, who is playing at the finals for the 6th time, will be the cynosure when Nigeria take on Canada, incidentally skippered by another 40-year-old Christine Sinclair. The odds favor defending champions USA, who have won 4 of the last 8 editions, but Nigerian players will be all out, starting with Group B matches against Canada on July 21, Australia on July 27, and Republic of Ireland on July 31.
This team can actually go far at the upcoming World Cup. But of course, regardless of whatever, we're still going to go out there, fight as always, do our job and see what we can do.
The world awaits spectacular opening match between New Zealand and Norway at the Eden Park in Auckland. 10 venues in 9 host cities spread across New Zealand and Australia are set for a showpiece in the first.
Away from sports, the National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has described the late former national chairman of the party, Prince Vincent Obolafo, as a true patriot who served humanity and the nation well. This was at a valedictory session in his honor by the national leadership of the party in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf reports.
The remains of the late former National Secretary and later National Chairman of the PDP, Prince Vincent Obolafo, arrived Abuja from Canada this Wednesday and received by the PDP National Working Committee, led by the acting National Chairman, Ambassador Umar Ilia Damagun.
To us in the party, it's a very, very big loss because he has left a mark in this party.
So I will never forget Obolafo.
Speakers representing the 6 geopolitical zones of the country say the late Obolafo was a true national leader and an embodiment of humility.
I worked closely with him as he became chairman and during those difficult times, how he kept the governors together, kept his party together, and kept his country together. Vincent Obolafo, a great man. Adieu, my great man.
This man lying here was a gentle giant. So we work closely with him. We're going to miss him.
Aged 76, late Prince Vincent Obolafo died on the 6th of October 2022 in Canada after a brief illness. He hailed from Abia State. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Well, it's been very hot and cold lately, so let's find out what the weather picture would look like tomorrow, Thursday.
Hey there. Here's what we expect the weather to look like on Thursday. There are chances of morning thunderstorms to parts of Sokoto, Kebbi, Zamfara, Adamawa, and Taraba State, with slim prospects of thunderstorms to parts of Borno and Yobe States. We also expect morning thunderstorms to parts of the FCT, Niger, and Nasarawa State, while over to the south, chances of light rains are to parts of Ondo, Lagos, Bayelsa, Akwa Ibom, and Cross River State. These rains are to continue through the afternoon, which we expect it to touch almost most parts of the country. And that's the weather for Thursday. I am Akami Samarda. Thanks for watching.
you know you'll be needing an umbrella or raincoat tomorrow. And that's News Extra today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Elizabeth Omori. Remain civil and responsible always. Good night.